One of the biggest ways to differentiate and get attention is actually through people. We all know that ultimately people do business with people, and that's how they buy into the hype, which is what the ultimate goal always is.
You're listening to 15M Mastery, a show that empowers you with insights from the leading iGaming experts to enhance your personal or business performance. The show is brought to you by tech-driven affiliate and media company Already Media, and supported by the AI-powered data analytics platform Blask. Yo Investments, a fund manager investing in outstanding people who are disrupting the iGaming, fintech, and crypto industries. And BC Game, the multi-award winning crypto casino with a player-centric approach. Hello and welcome back to 15M Mastery. I'm pleased to have our guest, Marija Hammon, the marketing director at Relax Gaming, return for the second of our 3 episodes. In this discussion, we will take a deep dive into B2B marketing for casino game providers, looking at brand positioning, messaging, and effective collaboration with sales. Welcome back, Marija.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to dive right into this topic.
Awesome. Let's go. Let's start with the first question. And the question is, what are the key responsibilities of a B2B marketing department for a games provider? How do these differ from a typical marketing roles in other industries?
I think that a lot of it is transferable and similar in many ways, but perhaps the biggest difference would be the volume of products that you actually have to market, and then being selective in that process to make sure that you are not trying to spread yourself too thin and try to push everything in exactly the same way or the same force, and try to pinpoint the products that you really want to focus special attention on.
I love it. I don't think I ever asked the question like that, but if you can compare your specific product and your specific company and niche to any other company in like the real world environment, what this could be?
That is a very good question. I'm trying to think, what could we compare to? And you don't want a similar industry, so you obviously can't say the gaming industry.
No, this is cheating.
Probably fast-moving consumer goods.
I think so. When I asked that question, I had that in my head as well. When you said that the range of products and their time to market and the consumer ability and the repeatability of all these products, I immediately thought about the same. So yeah.
Perfect. Great minds think alike.
Yes. All right. So let's go back to casino market. So which areas you think tend to drive the most marketing ROI? Is this product innovation? Is this distribution? Or is this promotional strategy?
When it comes to the nature of B2B marketing and our activities, the results can be either more directly measurable in terms of ROI or less. A lot of it is actually going with your gut, to be honest, allocating spend for visibility and also brand and relationship building, of course, where the ROI is not really so black and white. If we had to dissect it and really ask ourselves that question, it would be, how do you directly measure ROI of merchandise, for example? Or how would you directly measure ROI of a streamer activity or an affiliate partnership as well? So I think it can be complex to clearly look at that ROI, especially if you're trying to measure it in terms of revenue.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And especially, I would imagine how hard is that to understand the ROI on the games level, for example. So I totally agree with you. And it actually leads me to a question about, whether you can really differentiate both the brand and individual games in front of the operators and partners and its marketing.
In the last 5 years, the volume of suppliers and content has increased significantly, as has the volume of games that operators are seeing as well. So as we touched upon already, sometimes focusing on less is actually more. And if you want to stand out from the crowd, it's about highlighting what is genuinely great. In my opinion, one of the biggest ways to differentiate and get attention is actually through people. We all know that ultimately people do business with people, and that's how they buy into the hype, which is what the ultimate goal always is. You could have the best product under the sun, but if you don't have the right people actually pushing that product, then your success rate could vary. So I personally strongly feel that the people behind a brand are almost as equally important as the product itself.
Wow, I love it. I don't think ever anyone mentioned that because it's always like, your content, you have to build a better content, you have to push your content. But I think what makes a truly big difference are people. So I totally agree with you. I really want to hear your thoughts on something. So last year, I think a lot of momentum in the game providers kind of content strategies shifted into influencer led, into ambassador led or partnership kind of a driven way to creating all these games. And it feels like the marketing momentum is also shifting there, where they start to pay more attention onto marketing of a specific games against the company and the brand of the company itself. Do you think this is something for us to be seeing more next years to come, and especially with Relax Gaming and your company, or it was just like a fractional effect?
Absolutely. I think that it was a great trend, and I think that Relax was a trend setter in many ways in that respect, especially when it came to actual game collaborations. For example, a game collaboration with Casino Grounds and also with Casino Daddy and About Slots, of course, with the latest release, which was Immortal 5 from that series. So, yes, those were fantastic. I mean, they have that connection to the end user, to the actual player. So their insights are extremely valuable. And then, of course, the game provider then has the muscle to create the game itself. So I think that that collaboration is phenomenal. So I'd love to see more of that moving forward for both the company and in the industry in general. And like you said, even in terms of collaborations outside of game production itself, I think that they are fantastic. We're seeing more and more of that, even in terms of B2B influencers, if we want to call it,
Yeah.
or people within the industry that are well respected, actually supporting brands, supporting conferences, and giving their input and their visibility from that perspective as well. So I think that it is a growing trend.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of these kind of marketing little tricks in partnerships, because if you look at the other industries like sneaker or soft drinks, there are so many beautiful use cases on how, like brands are bringing in, fresh talent, like whether it's Travis Scott or Kanye West with Adidas, they are a very creative thinkers, and using them, and the way you've done this with Casino Grounds, I think it's truly remarkable, where you take the industry's largest influencers, very deep visionaries and creative thinkers, and just use them in partnership to build a better product. I think it's truly remarkable, and absolutely great job on that. Let's go back to the B2B marketing. So, where do you see the biggest crossover between B2B marketing and the end user marketing? How can B2B marketeers use end player insight to better serve operators?
This has always been a bit of a weak spot for suppliers, I think, due to the lack of direct contact with the players, which we're talking about. So transactional data has always been around and has been incredibly useful, but we're seeing more and more suppliers complementing this data with streamer feedback for that more holistic perspective, which we already touched on, particularly as there isn't really any mass A/B testing or anything similar going on. So I think that relationship and that feedback and insights is very, very valuable and shouldn't be overlooked by any supplier.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with you. What tactics do you think maybe can help to ensure that end players recognize the company's distinct fingerprint, even through your games is hosted on like multiple operators platforms? Because I see a lot of games there being like a point of the user journey of the user inside of the product, but for most of them it's an operator led world, right? They go to play with Stake, they go to play with BC Game, they just know the operator and the content doesn't matter. So how do you ensure that your fingerprint is distinctive and the players are looking for your game specific?
Top-notch designs for sure. I think that Relax is very well known for that. And of course, great mechanics. You have to have a strong identity. It's the same as your corporate brand. Your games need to have a red thread that is distinctive enough for players to actually be able to recognize that it is a relaxed game or that it belongs to a particular supplier.
The last one for today is about sales and marketing marriage. I think it's one of the most underlooked corporations in any organization, especially B2B ones. Like, in your view, how crucial is that marketing and sales team work together? What practical steps can B2B marketeers take to align more effectively with sales and not operate in silos?
I think that the most important thing for people to always bear in mind is that marketing is essentially a service department. And that service function is there predominantly to allow commercial teams to have the effective media and tools to drive sales. So that relationship is always there. It's just about how strongly people actually believe in that and choose to see that connection. So definitely operating in silos doesn't work. You have to operate in harmony. And of course, there are some parameters like anyone in any commercial team would love to have the highest level of visibility at any touch point to facilitate conversion. However, of course, the feasibility of that will naturally depend on marketing budgets available and just optimizing the best opportunities versus spend.
I love it. Yeah, I think it's very clear and very definitive, I'd say, and I think that many organizations should look into it and understand that there is no way B2B organization can be successful without really marrying these two functions inside of one organization. Thank you so much for your time today, Maria. I really enjoyed your insights, and I'm sure that all the listeners will also do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.